So how do you create a webinar with your blog? Hi guys, my name is Chef Katrina, and I have been teaching my mastermind groups how to create webinars on their blog, so they're not having to buy into all these systems and programs. Sometimes it's actually better for you to have that type of traffic coming to your site to drive more visitors and bring more people to your site, which we all love, right? Bloggers really want more traffic, more exposure. So what better way to do that than with a webinar? And webinars are really easy to do because they can be a training webinar, they can be a sales webinar, they can be an info webinar. I mean, they can really be whatever you want them to be, and you can host that all on your site. And the reason you would want to do this besides the traffic is this is also a great way to build your list, build your engagement with people that you haven't met or people that haven't been to your site before. So real quick, well, not real quick, but this is one of the ways in which you guys can do this. So I'm here on my WordPress site that I have, and this one is just a general WordPress site that I put together. I'm using it for some training and for webinars itself. So, but I want to show you guys something that you don't have to spend any money. If you already have your blog and you already have a YouTube channel, maybe the only thing you'd have to put the expense for is to get your autoresponder. But other than that, let's just get right into this and show you what this is all about. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create a new page. Now, there's a two-step process, as I mentioned inside the blog post today, guys. You're going to want to create a capture page. This will be the header information page. Maybe you want to get their email address. And the reason you want that email address is, one, so you can do follow-up with them. Two, to notify them when the webinar is starting, because we all know people have a short-term memory when they sign up for things. So you want to be able to remind those that signed up that you have a webinar that's present. This is also a great way for you to follow up, engage with them. A lot of times if this is a selling webinar, people don't buy on the first chance. Maybe they're not ready for it yet, but the ability to follow up and build those relationships with people is really important. So the first page I actually create in my mind is going to be the capture page, the page that people are going to sign up to join this webinar. So typically I want to do some sort of registration. I would actually, in this one, guys, I would not name this a registration page. I would name it whatever the webinar is, or some sort of intro to it. But just for this purposes, I'm going to do this. But if you're doing a webinar on some training for your company, or you're selling a product or service, kind of lead into that one a little bit, or just do like a sign in or opt-in page or something like that, so there's some sort of distinction for you. Then really at this point, all you're going to do is write your header. If you guys don't know how to do this, see this little toggle bar here? Most of the times when you have a WordPress site, it looks like this. Click the toggle bar and it opens up a secondary part. Typically your header will always be in H1. So what is the name of this webinar? So what is the call to action? What do you want them to do? And that, is really up to you. I'm just kind of giving you guys the basic fundamentals. I'm not teaching you what exactly to write here. That would require a whole other training altogether. So I centered it. What is the name of this webinar? And then you want to create an email opt-in form on here. So I'm going to show you guys, I use Aweber. This has been really, for me, the easiest and most, versatile to use. All you're going to do is create a list. So when you get in your Aweber account, the first thing you're going to do is going to create a list. So you'll just go through the create the list process. Just click here. It'll walk you through everything you guys need to know about creating your list. I'm going to go ahead and back out of this, because I'm just going to use one that I already have done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys, when you get through this, you're going to do what they're going to have you walk through what you call sign up form, right? So you're going to create a sign up form that you're going to want to do. I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. All right, so your first sign up form is really whatever you want it to look like. This one you can do, there's plenty of templates to choose from. You guys can go fancy, you can go colorful, you can do whatever you want with this one. Load the template in. It'll look something like this. You can have name, you can have email, you can have phone number, whatever you want it to do, whatever the look is for this. Then typically I would have some sort of just sign up for or register for webinar, and let them know this is the registration for that webinar. Okay. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to go through settings. So it's going to ask you some information about this. If there's a thank you page you want to send them to. Typically this thank you page that I want to send them to is maybe an introduction to joining you in this webinar, what they're going to expect. Maybe it'll be their first email that you send them. It's really open to you on that one. I know I don't have all the answers to this, guys, because I really just want to show you how to put this together on your blog. Like I said, this is a little bit more in-depth training that we require, that we go through some of the settings. And then we're going to go to publish. In publish, you're going to do I will install my own form. Then you're going to go to what we call a raw HTML version. This is where you're going to control A. Oops, not all of that. You're going to do this one, do a control C is what I found. And then when you go to your list here, you want to make sure you're under text. So you'll see something that looks like this. Just drop down a couple, do control V as in Victor. It puts it in right here. And then all you would have to do is hit Save Draft. So this has been saved. If you want to look under visual, what it would look like. You can take this form right here if you wanted to, and you can, I call center everything. So I tend to center everything on here. So now we've got the name, email, the sign up form, everything centered on here. So this is really all you've got to do. So now you've got a basic. I mean, it's nothing pretty, nothing fancy, guys. No, nothing crazy overall, but this is just a really basic way for you to create a capture form to get people to register for your site. There's, just because this is a preview mode, this is a webinar, but this would be registration. So that's the name of the site, what is the name of the webinar, your opt-in form, and you're pretty much ready to go. So simple and as easy as that, nothing complicated for your registration form. Then once you have that in place, the second one you want to create, once they opt in, or where you want to send them to see the webinar, is going to do just another page. So you're just going to do add new. I'm going to go ahead and let's stay on this page, save the draft. So now we're going to go and we're going to create the actual webinar page. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. Again, I'm just going to show you a very basic way to do this. Again, this would be webinar. Name it whatever you want in terms of what is the name of the webinar they're actually seeing. This is just for your reference and to have this information. So on this one, I would again do the header, introduce people to them, let it know. So name of webinar, date it starts, what's it about. So just having some basic information like that is really good on there. And then I will show you guys real quick that this is the coolest thing I really like about doing this, is that if you guys have a Google Plus account, again, which we talk about inside the blog for today, you're going to want to go to where it says Hangouts. Okay? The great thing about Hangouts is that it really does allow some versatility. There's a lot of platforms that have been built around Hangouts, but you can actually build a lot of these Hangouts or a lot of these platforms on your own blog. And I'll show you guys, like I said, real quick how to do this. So what you're going to do is you're going to start a Hangout on air. Again, give it the name of whatever you're naming this. So name of webinar. So what are you going to be teaching? What are you going to be sharing? All that fun stuff. Give people a little bit of description about what it is. This is really good for keyword phrase and just kind of getting found. If you guys want to have this available to everybody, if you want it to be found by everybody, completely up to you. So description, and I'm just going to say this is a test. So now what you're going to do is that you can start these Hangouts on air later. So what day or time is your Hangout on? So is it on the 10th? And what time do you want it to be at? So you have all your choices from AM to PM. So I want to do this at 4 PM. This is going to be about an hour and 30-minute long webinar, give or take. An average webinar is anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes is what I've typically seen. Now you can either do this to your public, you can do this to your extended circles, depending on where you're at with this one. Sometimes you want to keep it private and you don't want everybody to know about it, right? So if you want to do that one, maybe just send it to a couple of your friends. I can send it to myself. And do something as simple as that. So it really kind of depends on what your circles are. And then all I have to do is hit share. Okay, so I'm going to just put this out there that this is something that's going to be coming in the future. And then this will load up as my webinar. Well, the really cool thing about this is that right here at the top you have something called links. And you have the video embed code given to you right here. So all you're going to do is you're just going to grab this video embed code. You're going to do, like I said, Control C is what I do, Control Copy. You're going to go back to your page. You're going to just go ahead and go under text side again. And Control V as in Victor. So this one right now is in here. We're going to go ahead and save the draft. Just want to show you guys what this looks like real quick. You can change the width and the height of here. So this little number right here you can change. If you're not sure what to change it to, go to YouTube and see what dimensions they typically use for the different sizes that they allow out there. It gives you a good idea. So now this webinar is here. It's just sitting here. There's nothing going on. It's just the name of the webinar. So now you have this really ready to go. It's already on here. All people have to do is basically hit play when they get on here. So I'm all about giving people direction. So when I have this on here, maybe these, I put in like webinar begins at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please refresh page at 4:01. Oops, sorry, that was wrong. 4:01 p.m. to make sure you see. Make sure you can view webinar. And then if you want people to ask questions, usually at this point there's a couple of options you can do here. All questions will be answered at end of webinar. I've done stuff where I've sent them to my Facebook page and had them have a conversation over there with me over on my Facebook page. If you want them to buy something, if you have a specific product or service and it's on a web page, you've created a sales page which is beyond the scope of this one, you can do buy now and create a hyperlink for this so that you can just create the link, link it up, and then whatever you want to send them to for that ad, for that offer, for whatever you want to do, so you can just add the link there. So that is really a very simple and easy way to create a webinar on here. There is abilities to add plugins to put on here if you want to create conversations on via Facebook or, you know, what is best suited for you. But this, and for me, is just a great way to basically set up a webinar. You get people to your page. They can click on it. There's engagement. They talk to you on here. They may not talk to you during the webinar itself, but you can always create that external engagement on your Facebook pages. So again, it depends on what you're trying to do with these webinars, but this is really a very simple and easy way to gain access to your audience, to get people to come to your site, to learn about what it is that you're teaching and drive extra traffic to your site. Now you've not only captured their email address, now you've got them coming back to your page for a webinar, and possibly if you do a replay of this webinar, it stays up there for as long as you want. So that, for me, is one of the ways in which you can start embedding webinars onto your blog that you already have without incurring any extra cost. Yeah, it takes a little bit of finagling. Yes, it takes a little bit of extra effort. But if you are looking to drive traffic, create engagement. If you want people to learn more about who you are, where your blog is, how to get more information from you, this is a great way in which to do this. If you guys have any questions, please ask in the comments down below. I probably will do a little more in-depth training on what you are really looking for, but this is geared up and set up really towards just to give you an idea of how to get a webinar onto your blog and a couple of little things that you can do right now to make that happen. So I hope you guys are having a great day. Again, ask your questions down below. If you want to follow me or learn more about what I do in teaching online marketing, please follow me on my blog at www.thechefkatrina.com. And I hope you guys are having a great day. We'll see you in the next training video.